This is Yachty. Whoa. Oh my goodness.
I bet your little sister with that look like me. I bet your little brother wanna fuck on me. You can come around without that time, bitch. Look at my baby looking. She's too much.
Come on, Mom. Act up.
JT on the track.
Welcome to the Thinking Man's Templar, where we say one red pill life far outweighs a billion blue pill lives, and where the soldiers can come in from the war, remove their armor, drop their swords, and have conversations with like-minded men. I'd like to thank all the gentlemen who subscribed to this channel and assisted in the growth of this channel. I want to thank all the men who donated any amount. It's been a blessing. And anyone who's commented or shared this channel or participated in the wisdom being shared, we greatly appreciate it 1,000 times over. Now to business. Her judgment will be her life. I'll say it again. Her judgment will be her life. See, as men, we often feel that it's our duty to judge women. And in a sense, it is. But more so, it's to guide them and evaluate and to vet. But we know our women hate guidance. They hate the idea of shame. They hate guilt. And they hate judgment. They want to be left alone, so to speak. Left to their devices. To do as they wish, do as they want. So as men, we got to understand that her life will be her judgment, see. There's no escaping that. What you reap will be what you sow. What goes around comes around. What you put out is what returns. We've all heard these terms. We understand these terms. Women hate judgment. Why do you think they only like God on their terms? They want a misconstrued, diluted version of Scripture that is devoid of judgment. That's why she attends Reverend Porkchop's ministry every Sunday after leaving the club. Don't judge me, says the spirit of Jezebel. Don't shame me. See, a lot of these women have the Jezebel spirit all through them. That's why they hate judgment so much. But even though we may not judge them, even if we stop shaming them tomorrow, even if we stop making videos tomorrow, guess what? They're still going to get judged by the residue of their bad decisions. From the moment she decided to live a life of whoredom and harlotry, she opened her life up to certain results. When she decided that whoredom would be more fun, liberating, than be a virtuous woman and save herself for a righteous man, to be his wife, not to the state, to bear his children under the sanctity of the commandments, laws. chose a different path. And from the moment she made that decision and acted out on it, there were a set of endgame results that would be waiting for her. Regardless of if men ever said anything or tried to stop her or gave her guidance, the moment she turned away from that, her fate was sealed. See? There's no winning in the end of this game. She will suffer at the hands of her decisions. No matter how many simps come to her rescue, she will suffer. Her decisions will have consequences. Let's go over some of them consequences. Once a woman decides to go down the path of harlotry and whoredom, the residue of her actions will be inescapable. Her bastard children will be the results of her whoredom. How her children turn out without their fathers, without stable-minded men as their fathers. Let's be careful about the use of that word father. Not a male with sperm. That was a sperm donor. We're talking about true fathers. See, these children these days don't have fathers. They never had a father. Your mother didn't lay with your father. She laid with the man who she confiscated sperm from to have a child outside of marriage, because she knew that that was easier to accomplish than being a wife. She was selfish. Instead of being the type of woman who would be earned a husband and worthy of a husband, she chose to have children even though she wasn't worthy to be a wife. And that's why a lot of us are here. She knew that this man wasn't a father. She knew that he didn't want to be a father. She knew that he wasn't capable of being a father, and she did not care. Her biological imperative overrided all logic at that moment. She didn't want a father. She just needed the sperm, and that's what she got. Usually for some whoremongering male who doesn't know when he's being deceived and beguiled, set up, and there he is. And his judgment lies with him too. Because if she does have contact with him, his judgment will be his child support, the court dealings, fighting for his life and his livelihood in court, fighting for the right to see his children, dealing with that cantankerous woman who never loved or cared for him from the beginning, who's making his life a living hell. That's his judgment. But now, as men, we can be accountable for that, and we can say, that was the results of my lack of wisdom. And we can move on and be smarter, wiser, and not make that mistake again. But not to succubus. Oh, no, no, no. She has to go down this road 3-4 times. Because her sexual imperatives are very carnal and have a very high frequency. So she will never really slow down until she has to. Her biological nature to push out as many babies as she can will override the fact that she lives in the projects. She has no money, no education. She has no way to raise these children. She's not mentally, physically, financially suited to raise these children. Her biology will override that every time. And the residue and the judgment will be how she suffers and her children suffers. woman contracts an STD, that's the judgment of her hoarder. That's the judgment of the way she chose to live her life. A promiscuous life only heeds certain consequences. Dealing with STDs and unwanted children are the results of a promiscuous lifestyle. Having herpes, HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis, HPV, and any other STD that you can name are strictly the results of people who choose to whoremonger or live a life of whoredom. That's all it is. It's a judgment. And you have to deal with that judgment, because a lot of people walk this earth and think that Yahweh does not judge. He may not come down and strike you with lightning, but there will be consequences for your actions. Why do you think these things exist? Those are your judgments. Those doctor visits, that shame of the doctor telling you you have herpes, that shame of realizing you have HIV, or a woman finding out she's pregnant and don't know who the father is. That shame she's going to get one way or another. That judgment, that guilt is going to come to her one way or another. It doesn't matter. It's going to come her way. Everybody knows that you can only gamble for so long until you lose. You're gonna crap out. And the house always wins. Always. There's nothing you can do about the fact that once you've played the game long enough, there's a good chance that you're going to crap out. That shame is having to go to the Planned Parenthood office and register for an abortion, which we know the succubi loves to do. That's her judgment. But it's also her child's judgment. Because of her promiscuous nature, her unborn child gets executed. Isn't that selfish? And if the child is born, it's born most likely into poverty, a life of poverty and abuse, and not having. This is the life. Her life will be her judgment. When she decided that instead of being a wife, that she would go away to college, get an insurmountable amount of debt accrued, and during her prime years, she would give those years to the system and be a corporate woman. And her judgment will be when her biological clock begins to tick and she looks up and she's pushing 35, 36. And she has 2 master degrees and no husband anywhere in sight. Just boyfriends and men who've smutted her out since college. Now all she has is time working against her. And the chances of her having a child are low. That's why the newest number of single mothers are women over 30. Because these women over 30 have given all their years to the corporate world, and now all they want is a child. They don't want the man. So they find some simp and they extract semen for her child. But they'll do that to a man and put him on child support. But mind you, these same women won't go to a sperm facility and get artificially inseminated. No. They'll deceive a man, sperm jack him, put him on child support, make his life a living hell, instead of doing it a different way. She won't adopt a child, no. No. She has to take you down with her. It's unfortunate and it's sad. But now as we go into this new era of information and men are breaking down this culture of slut culture, whoredom. Men are beginning to protect themselves with knowledge. And that's good. Because if you're a man of principle and you stand on those principles and you live a life where you delayed gratification and you walked a righteous path and you studied hard and you worked hard and you saved your money and you weren't a whoremonger, now you're going to reach a point where the world is your oyster, and that will be your judgment, even though it'll be a good one. That'll be your reward. A life of peace, tranquility. Financial freedom. Now you're free. Because the game was set up for you to fail before you even begin to start the game. You're supposed to fail while you're in the building process. See, what a lot of women don't understand is that a righteous man can save your soul. He can prevent you from a life of whoredom and giving yourself away to random men, ultimately destroying yourself. A righteous man take you under his wing and give you guidance and wisdom and instruction. And you become his wife under the statutes, laws, and commandments, not through the state. And you have children righteously. He saved you from a life of whoredom. Why do you think in the time before a woman could even go into a life of whoredom, they knew her sexual nature would awaken at some point. And they knew once the young daughter began to sprout and her eyes started to notice boys and men, they knew it was time to start lining her up a husband. So that when she became sexually mature, there was someone there to prevent her from being a whore or a harlot. She could do it the right way. Her sexual nature, she can do it as a wife and not as a harlot or a concubine. This is how they prevented women from destroying themselves. Because her sexual nature, once it's unleashed and unraveled, it's going to go that route one way or another. It's like a dam. Once that crack shows in the dam, it's going to start flowing. And once it starts flowing, that's it. Once a woman's sexual nature is awakened, that's it. going to find a way to get to it one way or another. And they knew that if a woman's sexual nature wasn't held in some type of restraint, that's why you would have bastard children. Because all of her sexual imperatives, they're going to get acted out one way or another. She's going to find a way to have sex. She's going to have sex. You're not going to stop her. Especially not in today's world. You're literally going to have to lock her up in a basement. And if you're not doing that, she's going to find a way to get sex. Whether it's going to be hiding out, sneaking away at school, doing some things, she's going to get hers. So they had to find a way to give her some type of structure. So that when she was ready to have children, she'd already be married. She'd already have a husband. She'd be taken care of. And that child wouldn't be born out of wedlock. See? These are the steps they had to take to save her soul, man. They had to find her a righteous man to save her soul. To save her, period, from being destroyed by her own sexual imperatives. It's very carnal. A woman's sexual nature is the force of nature. Unstoppable, immovable. It will always find a way. But if you don't give it some type of structure, it can become destructive and destroy many lives, as well as her own. And once a woman takes on that Jezebel spirit, destroying lives, destroying men, she'll begin to take pleasure in it. She'll begin to use men and seek out men in vengeance of the men that hurt her in the past. She'll begin to find good, righteous men to destroy, to ruin. She'll look forward to it. She'll feel good knowing that she deceived a good man and broke him. She'll feel good about it. She'll feel like she's fulfilled her task. Every woman, for the most part, I'm talking about the high 90 to 95 percentile, can all say there's a handful of men that they abused. They lied to, cheated on, stole from, manipulated, and they felt no shame or guilt about it. They don't care. They actually felt good. They felt validated by the fact that they were able to ruin a good man. See, they can't ruin a bad man, a wicked man. And eventually, at some cases, they may even feel guilty of the things they do to a good man, a righteous man. Remember, it's all about avoiding guilt, avoiding shame, avoiding judgment. These women don't know. You know how many times I've spoken to women about certain guys they dealt with, and they'll be like, he's a good dude, he's a good dude. And I'm thinking like, what, that piece of shit motherfucker? Robbing niggas? Snake ass dude that most dudes will call a snake, call a grimy ass dude, but somehow she says he's a good guy. He's not so bad. Even when he does wrong, even when he puts his hand on her or does something messed up to her, he's not so bad. He means well. I think women care about having a spiritual match in a man more than anything. Because when she knows she's wicked deep down, she doesn't want anything more than to find a man who's also innately the same. Because in that way, she'll always avoid shame and judgment. Always. Because what's he going to say to her when he's a piece of shit his damn self? They love that. A lot of good men have been led astray, taken off the righteous path into becoming a whoremonger by chasing these harlots and these hoes. A lot of good men who are on the right path are now living a whole different life because of a woman taking them into that life of being a whoremonger. See? Sometimes it ain't about a woman getting your money. Sometimes it ain't about a woman getting a baby or putting a baby on you or getting knocked up by you for child support. Sometimes it's just it's deeper than that. Sometimes a lot of women, their sole purpose is leading men away from the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. She loves to pull you away from a righteous life. She loves it. When she sees a good man with a good nature, a good spirit, she's not thinking of, I want to be with that man so that he can build me up and make me a better woman. She's trying to look and see how she can siphon the goodness from that man or use that goodness to her advantage or whatever may come with it, whether it's finances or anything of that nature. She wants nothing more than to have that good man led astray, to take that man away from his purpose, which is serving the Most High. I mean, isn't that what Eve did? And ever since then, when women took on a lifestyle of whoredom, the number one thing they're doing is leading men away from righteousness. They're leading you somewhere you're not supposed to go. And a lot of brothers can attest to that. Think about a time when you were on point. You were in the scriptures, you were making your money, you were studying, you was caring about your health, you was on point, and then you met up with some chick. You start leading you somewhere else. You start slacking off. Because a lot of men, what they do is when they deal with a woman and they start having sex with her, see, being a whoremonger, when you're dealing with some harlot whore, right, a loose woman, and you start laying with her, all of a sudden you don't want to put your nose in the scriptures anymore. Because you know what the scripture's going to tell you. But you want to keep doing what you're doing because it feels good. You're kind of good on that for now. You start saying shit that harlots say. Oh, the Lord know my heart. He know my heart. You start saying shit like that. Those are things harlots say to avoid judgment. And I laugh when I hear men say that. Because I know that you got that from a woman. That's some shit a woman says. Oh, God, he know my heart. Really, does he? So basically I'm saying when you do wrong, or you do things you know is sin, and things you're not supposed to do, you say, oh, God know I make mistakes. Now you starting to say that. When before, you used to try to avoid walking down those paths altogether. Now you're walking down those paths talking about I'm covered by the grace of Jesus. He knows my flesh is weak, right? We've all been there, man. We've all turned our head from a righteous life to lay up with women who are already know where they're going. See, here's the thing. Here's the misconception. A lot of men try to make it seem like these women don't know where they're going. They don't know what's coming to them. They know. They're fully aware of what's coming to them. They believe the lie of feminism. Now all they're trying to do is duck the consequences. But they know they're coming. Their number one task right now is they want to take as many good, righteous men with them as possible. A lot of brothers didn't know how wicked their woman was until they realized she had her claws in them. Transformed. That Jezebel spirit took over. The spirit of her indoctrination. Yeah. All of that shit began to take over. Now you're in the house with a demon. She devil, man. When it says that her bedchambers would lead you to hell, man, that's what they're saying. She will take you off the righteous path. Because women aren't really righteous, man. Women don't really have the capacity to be righteous. Unless a man is guiding her through it. You understand? It's all for looks, man. Women are easily tempted, easily pulled off the path because they never really on the path. They just doing it for looks. They're trying to come off a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? These women that are in the church every Sunday after being in the club and fucking all week, they go to the church just for validation, to make themselves feel good. They really don't believe in it. Remember, women only want God on their terms. They want God minus the judgment. They want God to accept them with all their flaws. They don't want, they avoid all the scriptures. There ain't too many women, trust me on this, man. There ain't too many women that really study the Bible. There isn't. That's why they go to church. So that the pastor can point them in the area of the Bible that'll make them feel good. Because they know if they read through it, straight through it, that there's going to be a lot of scriptures that is going to be pertaining to her behavior and her whoredom, and she's not going to want to read that. She's not going to want to see it. So she'd rather go to the church and allow the pastor to navigate her reading of the Bible for her. Because she know he's going to give her the good stuff. He's going to be more of a motivational speaker and a life coach than a real hardcore man of God. That's going to teach her how to clean up her act. A lot of these preachers ain't nothing but Oprahs. They're more like Oprah Winfrey than they are men of God. All they doing is trying to pretend to be a life coach with a little bit of scripture here and there. But they avoid everything that pertains to the women that are probably 85% of their congregation. Amen to that. So her life will be her judgment, man. What does it say? I think it's in Isaiah that 7 women will cling to one man. They will say we wear our own clothes, we'll bring our own bread. Just as long as you give us, we'll sleep outside, shit. As long as you give us your last name and take away our reproach. To make honest women out of us. And that's another statement that was born out of a land of whoredom. When you gotta marry a woman to make an honest woman out of her, your antennas should go up. Why is me marrying her, making her an honest woman? Shouldn't she be an honest woman already? Shouldn't she already be an honest woman? Why do I have to marry her? And these men are wondering why they're getting in these marriages, in these relationships, and they're blowing up in their faces. Because you're marrying women that weren't virgins, that were out in the streets, and that eventually their biological imperative to keep sleeping with more men will override the fact that she's in a marriage with you. You understand? These women have already been turned out. She's not a wife. That's why a lot of men are going through what they're going through when they get into these marriages and they're giving these women everything and they're going hard for their families and they're still losing them. They're still losing their families. They're still getting asked to be divorced. They're still getting taken to alimony in court. And got to see their kids on the weekends and shit like that. Because these women were never meant to be wives. They're not wives. They're harlots that you put a ring on. A real wife and mother loves her children more than her pride. She would never deny her children their father because of her pride and her ego, or money, or greed. That's a harlot. Harlots and whores don't care about children. Because all children are a hindrance to her living her harlot lifestyle. She hates children. That's why she aborts children. She hates them. Why do you think there's all these stories of these women killing their children over petty reasons? It was that easy for you to kill your child. Because I think when a woman is already taking on a life of whoredom, I believe that the act of giving birth to a child becomes more rudimentary. It's more like a biological act. It's like a physical act, just like sex. Sex to her has become physical. It's not spiritual. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a physical act. And I think that everything that comes from that physical act, to her, it has no real meaning. But to a woman who's still a virgin, sex is still spiritual. To a woman that's a wife with a husband, sex is a spiritual thing. So she has that connection, that bond to her children. Not only, she still has her oxytocin. That's why these women can kill their children so easily. Because they don't have any oxytocin. Or they've developed a high threshold of tolerance to their oxytocin where they don't really bond with their children. Because they had so much sex that it's worn out. This children is just this thing that's coming out her body that's a burden. And spiritually, she has no connection to that child. That's why it's so easy for them to abort the child. They're not connected to it. It's not an extension of a righteous union. It's just the residue of whoredom. You heard that? Her child isn't the extension of a righteous union. It's nothing but the residue of her whoredom. So yeah, she'll abort that. I had to say that twice. So her life will be her judgment, one way or another. There's nothing she can do about it. And also, another judgment of her whoredom would be men becoming red-pilled and aware and able to point out and spot the residues of her whoredom. That's her judgment. That now when she meets a man, there's a good chance that he'll be red-pilled and that she won't be able to deceive him. And that she'll ultimately have a higher chance of being alone because there won't be any red-pill men that will take her. That's another judgment. See, anybody with their spirit in tune with the world understand that there's a judgment coming, man. When you see all these talks of war constantly, the perversion running rampant of children, sexual confusion, spiritual confusion, these are all signs of something coming. See, judgment is going to come one way or another. That's why your duty as a man is to try to be righteous. Live your life under the statutes, laws, and commandments. Avoid whoremongering or being led into a life of whoremongering. You got to understand that this is how wicked this world is. See, even you looking at a woman and thinking carnal thoughts, sexual thoughts, and perverse thoughts is adultery. And then you notice how these women walk around half naked now, with all their body parts showing and stretchy pants on, where you can see the curves of her vagina and her butt and all that. These women are leading you astray just by their basic dress. Why do you think they have to be covered up in certain countries? So that they won't trigger these thoughts. So that men that want to be righteous can be righteous without you flashing and bumping your tits all in his face all day. Leading him astray. Causing him to sin without wanting to. It's one thing from a woman to lead you into a bed and you becoming a whoremonger. It's another for her to be walking out the house half naked and you can't help but see her. That's something else. That's something in itself that's fucked up. You got to be very wise and understand that your only responsibility is to the women around you, to guide and mold them and try to stay on the righteous path. That's all you can do. You got no other choice. It's not about getting the red pill and then becoming a bigger whoremonger than you ever could have been ever in your life. No. These motherfuckers are sadly mistaken, man. It's not about becoming a bigger savage, becoming more of an avid sinner. Nah, man. The red pill is your window into salvation. It's the first domino that falls over that begins the domino effect of you saving yourself and becoming a truly man of the Most High. But if you choose to take that another way, that's on you. Not saying that we're all perfect, but we do all have the conscious understanding of what's right and what's wrong. You know in your heart what's right and what's wrong. Just like she may pretend to know what's right and what's wrong, but she exists in a different reality than you. See, that's what men don't understand. Women don't live in the same dimension of reality as you. And you try to understand her decisions and why she operates the way she does. She exists in another reality, man. An alternate reality women live in, where consequences and truth are not a factor until it's too late. That's how far gone most women are. They actually believe that feminism doesn't have any consequences in the beginning. And then once they realize it is consequences, even though the consequences are all around them, when they look at the older women around them that are suffering because of feminism, they refuse to believe that it can happen to them. And then instead of actually learning that, they try to duck all the consequences. They try to avoid and slip all the consequences instead of just being accountable and dealing with it. That's why a lot of women turn into sorcery and witchcraft and all type of crazy religions, because they don't want to deal with the consequences of their life. They want to avoid the judgment that is her life. The judgment that is her children. Her children may be waking up one day and getting in, or learning about their father, or their father finally telling them the truth about why they're here, and now your children are judging you. Now your children are beginning to look at you different. Mommy's not the angel she tried to pretend to be anymore. When your child is in the streets or in jail, and he's not a properly developed man, and he ends up dead in the street somewhere, or doing 25 to life, or just becoming an underachiever, a good-for-nothing dude out there, whoremongering his life away, that's because of you. When your daughter goes down the same path as you and ends up on a stripper pole or somewhere in the street, in the alleyway, in somebody's backseat of their car, getting sexed out, getting knocked up, getting STDs, that's on you. Because you wouldn't deal with your judgment. So then your judgment had to be your life. It had to be the consequences of your actions. So fellas, when you're out there trying to figure out what's going on, you're trying to get some answers, remember, her life will be her judgment. One day, she's going to grow old and she's going to pass from this world. She's going to have to deal with the judgment of her actions. Period. So while she's here, in the world that Satan runs, living the good old life of no consequences and no judgment and no shame, that's fine. But when all this comes crumbling down, there will be a judgment upon you. And you're going to look to your men to give you a pass, and they're not. And you're going to regret the way you chose to live your life, the way you chose to be a deceiver and a liar and a harlot and a manipulator. And you're going to hate the results of that. Because Regardless of what you think, there's no escaping your judgment, woman. There's nothing you can do about it. One day it is going to come. Women hitting the wall is another one of their judgments when their beauty fades away from all the drinking and drugging and the promiscuous living. They're going to look up one day and they're going to look old. They're going to feel old. They're going to get cervical cancer or breast cancer or some crazy shit like that. And they're going to wonder why. After she's been with countless men and had all these abortion operations, now she got cervical cancer. And she's wondering why. These are all judgments. Sorry. It is what it is. And as men, you gotta stay strong because you're gonna see a lot of women in a bad state, man. Coming real soon. You're gonna see a lot of homeless women, a lot of sickly women, with children in tow, broken, battered, used and abused. And these are going to be the same women that were haughty with their outstretched necks, walking with an attitude, thinking they're better than everybody, narcissist, all on her phone, taking 100 selfies. These are going to be the same women that worship themselves, like the spirit of Jezebel. The spirit of Jezebel is all about self-worship. And you look up and see how many women worship themselves. 100, 200 selfies. That's the spirit of Jezebel, alive and well, right in front of your face. You're going to see these same women, old, beaten, wrinkled, sickly. And they're not even going to be that old. They're going to be in their 40s, late 30s, disease-ridden. You're going to have to be able to look them in the eye and be stern on your beliefs. As a man who was sexually disciplined, who delayed gratification and worked hard and remained steadfast to his purpose and walked the righteous path his whole life, you're going to find out these women are going to pop up in your life and expect you to take on the responsibilities of a single mother. Why would you do that? Why would you, as a man of discipline, take on a woman who engorged herself in a life of whoredom and not being disciplined? And now she wants you to take on the residue of her mistakes. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll pass. And you should pass too. Because remember, her judgment will be her life. The results, the consequences. You judge a tree by its fruit. And a lot of these women are going to be bearing rotten fruit and trying to pass it off as fresh. And they're going to come to you with this basket of rotten fruit, and they're going to lay it before you and pretend to be a woman worthy of your time. And you're going to have to make the decision to say, no, thank you. You are beneath me. You are not on my level. You got to be able to look at a woman and realize she's beneath you, man, because of her decisions. No matter how fine she look, how pretty she is. Man, I done turned down some fine-ass single mothers in my life, man. And they will hate you for it, bro. They will loathe and despise your name because of it. Trust me, I know. There's certain single mothers that were trying to get at me and give me the time of day, and I turned them down. And to this very day, this was years ago, To this very day, my name comes up, she will curse my name like a sorceress witch that she is. Just because I was like, nah, no thanks. I don't really want to deal with that. Because I realized at that age that I've done what I did, what I was supposed to do. So why am I going to take on the mistakes of somebody who did? Was it easy? No. But I did it. I had the fortitude to stay disciplined. But you did. So no, it's not my job. It's not my duty. No way. These women will pretend to be good women for men that they think are upstanding. While she's pretending to be a good woman for you, there's some nigga with pictures of her in his phone, spreading her coochie lips on his phone. While she gets with you and wants to talk about books and act like she's some type of righteous broad. Don't be that guy, man. I've been on both ends of that sword. And I'm telling you, these women are chameleons. They will shape shift right before your eyes. From man to man. That's why they gather up so many men for trial and error. And they will act different and shape shift for each man. Because her biological imperative is to get knocked up and fucked by somebody. And it will run her ragged if she lets it. Until she goes through menopause and all that shit finally calms down. And guess what? That doesn't happen until she's damn near 40-something. So you might as well just understand that every woman between 15 and 35, 40, 39 is driven by these imperatives until it damn near ruins her life. And she'll ride that train until that shit goes smack into a wall. All you gotta do is know not to ride that train too long and get the fuck off. Ride it for a stop or two, get off, or don't ride it at all. I choose not to ride them at all. Been there, done that. And all you men that have been down this path and know what you've done and how you've been led astray and led from the Most High into being into a life of a whoremonger, maybe an alcoholic, a drug addict, because you're trying to be appealing to women. Man, clean yourself up, man. Repent for your sins and try to get another opportunity to live righteously, man, before it's too late. We're not trying to create a whole new generation of whoremongers that are going to get led straight to hell by these wicked ass women. We don't want another generation of that. We the generation of men that's trying to save ourselves and be righteous. We don't want to go down that path like these guys. These old, washed up, lame ass niggas you hear 40, 50, 60 years old running around here still chasing pussy. Even though it done ruined their fucking life. These old pathetic ass spending money on pussy, on raggedy, dirty ass old broads. You know these old clowns you see, you know, in the hood, all around in the club. Old simp ass motherfuckers, man. We ain't a part of that cloth, man. Y'all niggas dropped the ball. I don't respect none of y'all. Y'all ain't my OG. I don't care what none of y'all say. You ain't my OG, dog. All y'all old fake players, man. Niggas washed up, man. Women done ruined your fucking life. And you still out there chasing ass. At 49, 50, 60 years old. Ain't got shit for yourself. Ain't earned nothing. Ain't built nothing for yourself. All you guys are a bunch of kids scattered around that don't respect your ass. still looking for some old ass washed up broad to lay up with. And your punk ass son is just like you. Your punk ass sons is just like your ass. I don't want nothing to do with them type of niggas, man. Anyway, this video's been long enough, man. Remember, her life will be her judgment. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Period. So all you got to do is keep your eyes open. Try your very best to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. It's a lot. I'm still learning. I'm still gathering information and trying to be the best I can be. And it's hard, man. It's difficult. Especially in today's world where wickedness is on every corner, everywhere you look. So you got to be extra strong. You know? It's hard, man. But you got to be a mastermind, man. You got to be careful about the people you allow in your cipher. I don't care how old they are or how long you've known them. If you're on a righteous path and ain't nobody around you on a righteous path, then it's best you be by yourself. Until you meet some other people who are on that same path as you, where they can help you and give you wisdom. Shout out to Black Ram. Shout out to my brother Reg. Shout out to Villain Von Doom. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the brothers in the manosphere who are trying to walk a higher path. You understand? Not trying to be another generation of whoremongering bastard makers. And those men who've been down that path, who are trying to correct their path and learn from their mistakes, because nobody taught us how to avoid these pitfalls. We were trained and indoctrinated to be easy prey for these women. And a lot of brothers know they got guy out there, they got caught up, and they say, all right, you got that one. Never again. Those are the brothers in the manosphere that I can respect. Not the ones that get caught up and got to do it again 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. You still don't learn from your mistakes, man. As I pass another Planned Parenthood. Anyway, I just want to end this video with Shalom for all my brothers. All praise is due to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. I want you brothers to stay on point, stay vigilant. Anybody who's listened to the video, share your comments. Anybody want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Anybody want to donate, the link will be available. And it's all very much appreciated. I hope you brothers be safe, be well, enjoy the rest of the week. And until the next time, cover your 6.